Thank you all for being here on a beautiful July morning here in Bremerton, Washington. You know, from 1970 when her keel was laid to when she was commissioned out of Pascagoula, Mississippi to her home port in California, and now to be the anchor of the Maritime Museum here in Bremerton, Washington. It's been quite a journey for you and your crew and now your ship. The most decorated ship in the silent service of oceanic exploration, and at the forefront of keeping America safe, strong, and the fight unfair in the seas around the world. The city of Bremerton, the mayor of Bremerton, and the city council thank you all for being here and for your service, and we'll be committed to the stewards of her sail, and it will be placed here in perpetuity. And so every time you come back to Bremerton, you will be able to revisit, enjoy the plaque, as well as our beautiful museum. And right now I'd like to, where's my Mr. Andrews? There he is. I know he's a little camera shy. And in the city of Bremerton, in fitting with our shared maritime history, instead of a key, we like to have something that's emblematic of a cruise coin that the command would bestow upon visitors. And so, on behalf of the city of Bremerton and the mayor, I'd like to present you with this coin and the key to the city. Thank you for enjoy the rest of your reunion, and thanks again for your service. God bless America.
Thank you. Come real quick. I know a lot of you guys saw this over there. I thought this would be an excellent representation of what we are, and I wanted to present it to the city of Bremerton because you're stewards, and we all appreciate how you presented it, how you display it, and how you take care of it. So that's from us to you.
Well, thank you very much. We'll find attention on that. Thank you.
Next on our program is Mike is invite you to introduce you to George Mike, and he is now and presently the president of the foundation and retired naval captain. George, you got the podium.
Hi, good morning. And thank you for including the museum in your reunion. I also want to say that Mike and I were both on the Parche at the same time. I actually came aboard in 1983 for 5 days with 4 other officers. We had to dive your submarine to 500 feet, bring it up to maximum speed, and scram the reactor. And then we watched you recover the boat.
That was you?
I just found out today that that was the exact.
And we have stories about that tonight.
Don't we can. Well, I do have some gifts for you, and Mike, if you come up here, we have a museum cap with scrambled eggs appropriate to your position in this reunion.
Okay.
As coordinated. Please wear the pride. Scrambled eggs are a real eye catcher. I wore the cap out here sailing baseball tickets, and the eyeballs were popping. You know. And we also have a lone sailor statue for you. It says nice. Mike Andrews and the crew of the USS Parche.
Animal speechless.
Now the lady was responsible for our museum. Danelle is our manager, director of the museum. And I hope all of you will take time when you're staying here to visit the museum and see what we have to offer the public. Danelle?
Good morning. As Dick mentioned, my name is Danelle Eaton. I'm the managing director here at the Puget Sound Navy Museum. And my staff and I love having the sail of USS Parche placed so near our museum. For us, it represents the pride we take in our Navy in this region and stands as a reminder of the hard work and sacrifices each of you made while serving our nation, whether as a military, civilian, or family member. Excuse me. So on behalf of the museum, we'd like to welcome you to Bremerton. Please feel free to visit our museum. I think you'll find some things that are very interesting, especially pieces of equipment that actually came off of USS Parche in our spec ops subunit. And I hope you enjoy your time together.
Thank you. I want to wish you again a real good reunion. I'm sure you're going to have it. And I really appreciate everybody showing up. You'll always be remembered in this area because we look at that sail every single day, and it's going to be there when we're all gone, probably. But it's been a pleasure, and I thank you all for serving. And it's really important. And Bremerton welcomes you, and the mayor will probably be at your luncheon tomorrow. That's a promise. Yay, perfect. There. All right. Yep, that's fine. Enjoy your stay here, fellas. Yep.
This way. Thank you.
If that doesn't tell me, I got
Yeah. Oh, he did. Right. Right?
Yeah, he was talking. I can recognize his face.
Yeah.
Sidewalk.
Here's a guy that I graduated with, Kobe. He was an officer going through.
You sign up there and you still be a member of the bar. They have a ship store.
Think about when I stopped.
Okay, would y'all please rise for the pledge of allegiance and our national anthem?
Which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
all be seated, please.
I'm not sure which copy.
I want to welcome all the Parche sailors, families, and friends. Particularly a warm welcome for Captain Robert Goucher, he's Commander of Submarine Development Squadron 5, and Captain Bob Howell. And I'm looking around, and I noticed over the past couple of days for this reunion, we've all aged very well, haven't we?
Speak for yourself.
I see about 3 generations of Parche sailors here tonight, or for the reunion, and it's really good to have a turnout. I really thank you all for showing up. And you know, we started this little history about 2 years ago or so. Buddy Hall and I were on the phone one night. I was enjoying a glass of fine Irish whiskey. Buddy was drinking whatever swill Buddy drinks. And we, after telling a few sea stories, decided, you know what about a reunion? And we were lucky enough to reach out to our shipmate Mike Andrews, who was in the area, who graciously volunteered to take care of a lot of the legwork, and he's done an incredible job as most of you. Those of you who have been to the hospitality suite next door, there's a caricature of Mike. Please stop and sign it if you haven't already. As I said, we have some history in the room. And you know that we've had the distinction and the privilege of serving on the U.S. Navy's most decorated warship. And I think we all deserve a round of applause for that service. And it's important that we remember that although we sailors made the mission, we had a tremendous team behind us from the shipyard, from the contractors and various other teams. And so we didn't do it alone, but it's important to remember that it's the people that made the mission. We took a tool to see and we did our work. And I think, I know we're all very proud of that. I'd like to introduce our guest speaker this time. Captain Goucher, as I said, is Commander of Submarine Development Squadron 5, but some of you may remember is what the old W1 evolved to. Captain's operational assignments included the USS Flying Fish, SSN 673, the Oklahoma City, SSN 723, the Maryland, SSBN 738 Blue. He commanded the city of Corpus Christi, SSN 705, and he's had various staff assignments on the Chief of Naval Operations Staff and with Commander of Submarine Forces. A great career so far. In fact, I may have run into you sometime at OSP. I did some business with them in the past. I thought your name was a little familiar. So please give Captain Goucher a warm welcome.
Thank you very much. It's really great to be here tonight, and I was excited to get the invitation, but I'm going to ask you to indulge me on a couple things. First of all, I may have to leave a little bit early. Tonight's my 21st anniversary, and so I do owe my wife a little bit of time out to dinner tonight. She is, I'm told, in the vicinity and may walk in here during my speech, so she is allowed to interrupt if she comes in. And I think she's nearby. She got back a little bit late, so you may see her wandering here before we're done.
So when she gives you the nod, it's time to go?
That's exactly right. But I will stay as long as she'll let me. It's a great group here, and I'm sure that it'll be probably more fun than anything we can come up with on our own. So anyway, as we get started, I want to kind of cover a couple things here. So I'm going to first talk about what's changed in the submarine force since you all were on Parche. Oh, so my wife just arrived. Come on in, honey.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. As you all well know, the job of a Navy wife is never done, so she was working hard today all day dealing with many friends who are coming in from Europe that need housing information and school information and all that stuff, and it never ends, so she's been busy all day with that, so we'll excuse her from being a couple seconds late here. But anyway, getting back to my speech. So I'll talk about what's changed in the submarine force. So a little bit about what we had back then and what we have now. Talk a little bit about the onboard, so what the systems were like back when you were all on board and what they're like today. And also talk a little about the threats. So what were we doing back when Parche was out on patrol, alone and unafraid, and what are we doing today? And then finally just wrap a little bit about what was the significance, as much as I can tell in this unclassified forum, of what Parche did and how it's helped us and continues to help us today as we do our missions in Deveron 5. So I know we have kind of a wide range dating back to the 1970s up to the 1990s and maybe even some who were on in 2000. But I just picked a date. I picked 1987. So we'll talk about what the world was like in 1987. That was also the year I graduated from high school. So, so we had 102 fast attack submarines in 1987, 37 nuclear ballistic missile submarines, 0 guided missile submarines, a handful of diesel submarines. And today we have about 50 fast attack submarines, and that varies a little bit. You have a few getting commissioned and a few going out of service, but we hover right around 50. We have 14 ballistic missile submarines, and we have 4 guided missile submarines. So almost, when you look at the numbers, we go from about 140 to 70. So we're at about 50% of our force level from back when many of you were operating in the 80s. So that's the bad news. The good news is our submarines today are very, very capable. So when I grew up on a submarine, I remember my first underway. It was actually a deployment up into the northern regions of the Atlantic. I was hunkered down in the forward corner of my 637 class submarine as the expanded time bearing plotter. And what we did back then is we had some very rudimentary green screens that we would write down information on, and we would pass it on a piece of paper. And so I'd pass the piece of paper to one person, and pass it to another, and we'd each mark it and pass it to a third person. Ultimately, it would get up to the XO, he'd make an announcement to the captain, and we would maneuver the ship. Well, now that's all electronic. So the ability to make quick decisions, even though we have fewer submarines, is much greater. So we really have expanded the submarine captain and crew's decision space so they can spend less time looking, writing, comparing, and more time thinking. I mean, that's the real bottom line. And I know many of you, work still in the naval enterprise, whether it's for companies that support us or for the shipyard around here. And the good work that you've been doing since you got out has helped enable that capability for us. I'll do a little compare and contrast. The fire control system. Back in 1987, Parche had the Mark 117 CCS Mark 1, which was pretty much if anyone remembers an old Radio Shack computer from the 1980s, with the green, type screen. It was about that equivalent, except it had kind of some pictures with some lines on it that helped you out, maybe a couple dots, and you use a dial, and you push a button every so often to try to center the dots up, and that would tell you, how close you were to the right solution. Nowadays we have a complete geographic display, multicolor. It's almost like a PowerPoint where you can, if you want to mark something, you just drag a little cursor over, you hit a button, you can say stay away from there and hit enter, and it shows up, and it shows up not just on your screen, but you can replicate that to any screen you want. We can look at a sonar screen out in fire control. We can look at a fire control screen in sonar. So our ability to fuse that data and share that information is much, much better. On our Los Angeles class and Sturgeon class submarines, and even on our Seawolf class submarines, sonar and fire control were separate rooms, right? The sonar shack, nice and quiet. On the Virginia class submarine, it's all one room. One side of the room is sonar, the other side of the room is fire control. It's light all the time because we have infrared capability. We don't need to darken and adjust our eyes anymore. So lots of opportunity to share information and pass it back and forth, and leverage the technology, and then also leverage the video game era so that the kids who grow up today playing their Xboxes and Super Nintendos or wherever they play, we build the man-machine interface to support that. We actually use an Xbox controller now to control the fire control system because we know they know how to operate that and they're used to it. But that's what we're doing nowadays. And it really is, it's a different generation. For all the bad things you hear, about today's generation, the thises and the that's, the millennials, just wipe that away if you walk on board a submarine today. Because it's just like it was when I, got on my first submarine in 1992. I know that's probably later than a few of you, but it really is. They're excited, they're energized, they're hardworking, and you can be really, really proud of that because you guys started the legacy. You carried it on from World War II, and now the sailors today are carrying on that legacy that you built for them. So moving forward there a little bit more. I guess I should mention one more thing. It's a little sad. There are no more paper charts. It is all electronic too. And actually it all, again, the navigation system interfaces with the combat system, so totally fused and integrated and really eye-watering. If you ever lived in the old days, I said, I was only on the cusp of the old days, it really is impressive to see. So if you get the chance to go down to a Virginia-class submarine, I really encourage you to take the opportunity to see the technology as it is today. The threats. When we were all operating in 1987, or when I was reading the newspapers in 1987, the main threat was Russia, right? Cold War, Reagan, Khrushchev, Brezhnev, the whole family of Nevs, it was very clear who our competitor was at the height of the Cold War. So since then, we had the 90s, and we kind of went to peace with Russia. But then other things popped up. The first Iraq War, the Yugoslavia, Kosovo, Bosnia operations in the Med there, the war on drugs in the Caribbean. All those spread our submarine force out to what was a pretty well understood for the past 2 decades threat with Russia. Now to this new set of threats that requires different skill sets. So that really diluted us a little bit as we had to go from these open ocean cold warriors to now these littoral operating, tomahawk launching, SEAL supporting, jack of all trades capability. And that threw us, for a little bit of a loop as we're trying to play catch up with a new world order. And then sure enough, the 2000s came. Oh, I should also mention we also had BRAC and downsizing, right? So anybody at Mare Island in the mid-90s, understands the challenges of that. And, there's some goods and some bads to that. I won't comment politically, but certainly having to pick up and move a submarine is not an easy thing. I had to do that from Guam to Pearl Harbor, and I would say that's the most underrated thing I did during my command tour because it's very challenging. The families, the crews, the ship, learn the new ports, learn the new navigation scheme. So all those things created challenges in the 90s. And then we moved to the 2000s. And then onto the scene came Afghanistan after 9/11, as well as Iraq. China all of a sudden started to rear itself and decided it didn't want to get into the submarine game. So its force structure started to rapidly ascend. It about doubled its diesel population. It got high-end Kilo-class diesel submarines from Russia, and it started building its own fleet of nuclear submarines, not just in fast attack, but also in ballistic missile. North Korea also decided to get into the submarine game, starting to build more classes of submarines, as well as ballistic missile launches, off their coastlines. The war on terror picked up, and that spread beyond Afghanistan and beyond Iraq and Iran to points all over the coast of Africa. And all of those created places we wanted to have submarines to be able to monitor and to support our national security. But again, the mission set grew, the numbers of threats grew, and at the same time, Russia seemed to drop off the face of the earth. They were, we were at peace with them, everything was great, they're our friend, we're doing exercises together, and they're operating very, very little. And this is leading up to the punchline here. So sure enough, we hit 2010, and all of a sudden our old friend is back. And if you read the news now, you know Russia's launched more brand new ballistic missile submarines in the last 2 years than we have in the last 30 years. Russia's just launched 2 brand new guided missile submarines. They continue to operate, their Delta class ballistic missile submarines. They're Akula and Akula II class mass attack nuclear submarines, and they operate them more and more. If you read the news articles from Admiral Ferguson, the Nav Europe commander, and Admiral Fogo, the 6th Fleet commander, you'll see them talk about that. The resurgent Russia. So the same skills that we learned and we honed and we refined back in the 80s, we're dusting off again. And we're having to get back to our roots, to the deep water, high-end threat. Not just against Russia, but also against China, because they, at the same time, built their submarine force structure up. And we look at those 2 countries and we see that Russia remains the capability challenge for us. They can still, if there's anybody who can play varsity level with the United States of America, it's Russia. And in the other theaters, such as the Pacific, China is challenging us with numbers, because they're able to build cheaper submarines, the smaller diesel class, and they're only worried about a regional conflict. So they have the capacity. They're using old Russian things, putting new technology on it for limited scope engagements. And so all those create a big challenge. But the reality is, our boys are doing great out there. And now our ladies are doing great out there, because we're now a mixed crew. We just, I think in the next week, we'll pin the first Silver Dolphins on an enlisted submariner. And we already have a great cadre of female officers. And that's gone very well. I think, I remember being interviewed in the 90s saying, I think you're crazy to do that. But the truth is, we took a very deliberate approach, and it's gone very, very well. In most cases, we did handpick some of the first ladies to go out there, but they've outperformed the men. Most of them are number 1 or number 2 on the vote, believe it or not. And that's really a tribute to the quality that we've been able to recruit in the submarine force and develop. And I think it's gone extremely well, and we're very fortunate to be able to draw from a much broader talent pool today. So I think you should all take pride in that great legacy that you turned over and it's carried on today. So to wrap up, I want to talk a little bit about the importance of what you did on board Parche. And we've been talking about what the rest of the submarine force has done since you left. So to support my discussion today, I reached out. It turns out that back in 1987, the CO, or at least recent CO of Parche, was Admiral Richard Buchanan. Some of you may have served with him. And the CO of the shipyard was Admiral Mike Coyle. Well, it turns out that Admiral Buchanan's son is now Commodore T.R. Buchanan, a very good friend of mine, and Admiral Coyle's Admiral Coyle's daughter, Kelly Coyle Buchanan, is also a good friend of mine. And it turns out Renee was actually talking to her yesterday. I just found out today. But I reached out to TR and I said, hey, I'm going to speak at the Parche Reunion. Can you have your dad maybe shoot me a few notes that I can kind of reach back to give a tribute since he can't be there. And so he not only gave me a few notes, he also reached out to Admiral Coyle to give me the shipyard, Mare Island Naval Shipyard Commander's perspective as well. So I'm going to take a minute to kind of read what they said, and then I'll wrap up here for you. And if we have a few minutes, I'd be happy to take any questions you have, if there are any. Otherwise, I'll turn the mic back over to Mike here. So from Admiral Coyle, due to the nature of the program, not just anybody could work on Parche, but only those who could obtain the necessary security clearance. During the 18 years that she was at Mare Island Naval Shipyard, these workers and the submarine, including her crew members, developed a strong bond. Support of the ocean engineering program was always the highest priority. The shipyard ocean engineering workers knew that they were doing important work and took great pride in their accomplishments. Even though they did not know the details of the submarine's operations, they knew that they were part of something very special. Motivation was never, ever a problem. from Admiral Buchanan. The USS Parche crew was challenged by the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Carl Trost, U.S. Navy, prior to our 1986 deployment to, quote, bring home the bacon, unquote. At the conclusion of the mission, as we reached waters where communications were not going to compromise our location, we sent the mission complete report, and the final comment being, we not only brought home the bacon, we brought home the whole pig. The comment was reinforced by the crew receiving the Presidential Unit Citation for the 1986 mission. In addition, Admiral Trost presented the crew with a bronze pig that was proudly on display for the entire crew to see and reflect upon during the years following the 1986 mission while the ship was being modified at Mare Island Naval Shipyard. Parche's crews and those in Mare Island Naval Shipyard who supported us were by far the finest collection of submarine sailors and submarine support personnel that could ever have been collected in one place to accomplish successive and tremendously successful missions of significant value to the security of the United States. It was absolutely my finest personal and professional privilege to have had the pleasure of leading this crew in accomplishing these most significant operational missions. Remember, what we did cannot be shared and should never be revealed, but please take personal and individual pleasure in having been a part of making these operations happen. Signed, Admiral Richard Buchanan, Rear Admiral, United States Navy. So taking that forward one step, I just want to personally say how important what you did. And I've had the good fortune throughout my career to have been exposed to some of the special operations that Parche has completed over the years. But it really is the foundation for what we do today. Back in the day, there was one boat, Parche, that was carrying the water for a long period of time. Now we're very fortunate. We have 3 submarines, all three Seawolf class submarines, to help share that workload in Submarine Development Squadron 5. We also have a number of special detachments that are also able to carry on that very special research and development ocean engineering mission of USS Parche. Just in the last year and coming year, we're able to support USS Newport News out of Norfolk, USS Helena out of Norfolk, USS Toledo out of Groton, USS North Dakota out of Groton, USS Ohio out of Bangor, USS San Juan out of Groton, and USS Georgia out of Kings Bay, Washington. And the eye-watering accomplishments that you all completed during your time on board Parche has translated and expanded to our continued undersea dominance, throughout the world. And that really cannot be understated, and that is really the bread and butter of what we do here at Devron 5. I'm fortunate to live on the shipyard, so I get to see the Parche sail quite a bit when I walk out. So I paused tonight as I was walking here to kind of take stock of the many awards that sit on that sail. And I think I counted 15 battlees, 8 Presidential Unit Citations, and 9 Navy Unit Citations. I think what's most impressive to me is there was no meritorious unit commendations. And that says something, right? Because I think for the average boat, if you walk away with 1 meritorious unit commendation, you're feeling pretty good. I got 2 in command, and I feel like that's a pretty unique accomplishment. And that was just, you guys just sailed right above that level, right onto the Navy Unit Commendation and Presidential Unit Commendation. And that is not anything to be taken lightly. I think most people, would only wish they had the opportunity, don't even consider the chance to get a Presidential Unit Citation. So I think those are some pretty clear facts, that stand out. And I know you were there today, with your ceremony with the city at the sail. And every time you walk by there, you ought to remember just how important your contribution to the United States and our national security was. So on behalf of a grateful nation, I'd just like to say thank you very much for your service and tell you what an honor it is to be here tonight and have the opportunity to address this crowd. So thanks very much. And with that, I'll open up to any questions. I think I have maybe 5 minutes. So go ahead, sir.
Captain, I was a commandencier on Mare Island, and I'm still active down there with the Mare Island Museum and what have you. A lot of shipyard workers are still involved. And I was wondering if you might be willing to share that letter from Admiral Buchanan. Those guys would love to see it or hear it.
Yes, sir. I'd be more than happy to, and maybe if I can just maybe pass it to Mike, and then he can get it to you. Would that work? I have it. Probably easier if I give it to you electronically. I can maybe get it dressed up and you know.
Wasn't sure if you were even willing to share it, but that would be great.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get someone to give me a quick verification check and make sure. I'm sure we can get you something pretty close.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The question is, did we support the USS North Dakota's ops in the Mediterranean? We absolutely did support those operations, and we're spooling up now to support the next iteration of that, which I think will be off of USS Georgia. You know, similar operations, and they really did great work. I'll tell you, I was fortunate in my last job to be very integrally tied to that operation, and I think it was a real home run. So. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we talked about the first rack that we had back in the 90s or whatever, and I've been hearing, I work for DLA right now, that a lot of the services are asking for a rack now because the money's been cut so much that they can't even manage the bases they have now. And I'm just wondering if you could comment on that.
Yeah, so the question is whether, you know, what's the current status of the future bracket? And I'll be honest with you, I don't know much more than you read in the papers. I think all I can tell you is that money is challenging, and you know, I think it is important to have some balance. You know, you have to have some cap. I mean, if you left it to us, we'd spend more than we could afford. But you know, there's pretty smart people that are looking at that, and you know, hopefully they get it right. But, unfortunately, it's just a little outside my realm of level of knowledge there. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, we have a couple presentations, Commodore. Thank you for your time here. We have a book here written by Captain Jack Maurer, who was my CEO for my tour on Parche. It's short stories, or sea stories, and it, I think some of us are in there that knew Jack Maurer.
I'd be in trouble if I read this.
Also, we do all wish you a very happy anniversary. And we want to I apologize for my voice, but 2 nights at Mike Luby's dance hall, we'll do this
Gotta do the horse and cow.
God bless the horse and cow, yeah. Okay, we're now going to recognize our shipmates on internal patrol. Buddy Hall will read those off. And please note, this table represents those men that are no longer with us.
Please stand. We have one constellation that lives with us today. That God is near to them in his own special way. So God, in all your mercy, keep near thyself the soul of every submariner still on his final patrol. Lord, these departed shipmates with dolphins on their chest are part of an outfit known as the best. Make them welcome and take them by the hand. You'll find without a doubt they were the best in the land. So Heavenly Father, add their names to the roll of all the departed brothers still on patrol. Let them know that we who survive will always keep their memories alive. On behalf of the USS Parche shipmates, we now salute each of our brothers who have passed on with the toll of the bell. Machinist Mate Billy Call. Lieutenant Commander Daniel Tostevin. Machinist Mate First Class Gordon Ray Goat Roper Daniels. STS First Class Gregory Ramsey. Quartermaster Chief Hellstone. Radyman First Class Harry Marsh. Machinist Mate First Class Jeff Griffin. Fire Technician Technician Third Class Lee Happy Rain. Sonar Tech Chief Michael Walls. Quartermaster Chief Mike Big Bird Raymer. Mike DeRocher. Machinist Mate Master Chief Paul Pappy Polson. Electrician's Mate Senior Chief Robbie Wills. Torpedoman First Class Rodney Dean Rod Dutke. Ron Prescott. Ship Supervisor Ross Hall. Sean Dumpy. Sonar Tech Second Class Jerry Leonardo. Tim Wills. Machinist Mate Chief Winfrey Pete Peters. We're going to play taps now.
Thank you, buddy. Please be seated. That kind of wraps up the official part. I got a couple of administrative notes for the rest of the reunion. The bus for the barbecue tomorrow will be staged next to the Starbucks at the hotel. They can't put in front of the hotel, so just wander over there. You'll catch that bus there. We have some of the coins left over. If you haven't gotten a coin yet, come over to the coin, please pick one up. I mentioned a caricature for Mike Andrews over in Hospitality Suite. Please check that out. And we want to make sure, please share as much as possible any photos or videos you took on the P-Girls Reunion 2016 Facebook site.
Oh, yeah, right.
And Mike has arranged there'll be a DVD made of this for however he's going to distribute it for us. He'll figure that out and he'll contact us all, let us know. But again, thank you all for coming. When we started this, we didn't have a clue we were going to get more than 30, 40 people. Look at y'all came. I really, really thank you for it. So enjoy your dinners for the rest of the reunion. We're going to have a raffle a little bit later after dinner. So I hope you all have a ticket. And if you want to turn your tickets to me so I get a better chance of winning, that one model right there in the simulator, I want that. So enjoy. Thank you so much.
Silent auction.
Submarines once.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. One more. There's many items for the silent auction over in Hospitality Suite, and they're all laid out. Please go and put in your bids. And if you win and you're not here, don't worry, we'll mail it to you. Thanks for the reminder, Gene. And is there Dennis for Somebody put that in a report. Submarines once, really?
Cutoff for the silent auction is midnight tomorrow night.
Midnight tomorrow night, do y'all get that? Okay. Again, thank you.
One more thing, the silent auction proceeds are going to be going to the Bremerton sub-base vets.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Good job.
Okay, now I think that's it, right? Okay, everybody eat. Enjoy.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
You'll have a lot of food.
It's wonderful. Wow.
What are you doing tonight? Yourself? Very good. Thank you very much.
They came to the boat. They were from that night. I do remember that. And then we left. We left in a hurry. They thought we were in the... I remember that. We're all like, what? We did. We like left the next day in the boat. Yeah. During most of the shore patrol came.
Violator, no politics, no politics.
Bring it up a little bit. You don't want to bring it much up. That's not good.
We'll start with the Silver Dolphins #1, Gold Dolphins #2. The Sword of Parche #3, Parche with a simulator #4, and the Bell #5. And of course, John Dale is not going to do the honors of drawing the winning number. John, please take the floor.
John Dale. John Dale.
Rick, they're going to start again. I've got to wait till after. I did?
$690-4625.
Oh, shit. Come on, Larry.
4625 is the last 4 digits.
McCoy. 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 McCoy.
Last four digits are 4628.
If you don't start calling right
Looking good, baby.
One at a time.
Happy side.
Last four is 4618.
I want a second opinion on that.
Okay, that's 4618.
It's going down.
That's not the real Parche anyway. That's actually modified. That wasn't a real thing. That wasn't the real Parche. It's the big one.
Come on, bring it this way.
I got one of them already.
It's the one I have upstairs.
Okay, for Parche after the first conversion. 4631.
By one. Good for you, buddy.
Well, you're 3-2?
Buddy,
I'm going to bench Franklin on that one.
remember, buddy, the bills will be delivered in a brown paper bag. For the bell.
Brown paper bag. For the bell. Oh, fuck. Kiss my ass and cut me fucking father's back.
I will.
4678.
Joe Peterson, you fucking lucky son of a bitch. Not in a bad way. That was in a good way. Hey Joe! Hey Joe! Joe! Good for you! Good for you!
That's nice.
Good for you! Good for you, Joe! Hey, Mr. Peterson! Good for you! Hey,
Can I get everybody's attention just for a second?
anything to get it, but
Just want to thank everybody for coming. Looks like the food was a success because it was really quiet while it was dinner time.
You don't have to take it home.
But I wanted to bring up the bus tour for tomorrow, with the bus ride back and forth to the barbecue. The bus starts at 10:30. It's going to be leaving by the Starbucks. It's going to be doing half hour run. So if you missed the first one, just wait down there. It'll come back and get you. We'll be doing shuttles back and forth between Camp McKee from 10:30 to 3:30. No. Okay. There is parking at Camp McKee. Down in the hospitality room, there's directions, Google Map, if you'd like to. But if you want to drive, you can drive. There's plenty of parking. If you don't want to drive, you can take a bus. And it opens at 11. Hopefully we'll eat around noon. And then until food's gone or everybody's drunk. But I just want to thank everybody for coming. It's been a blast. It's been a lot of work, but it's really been worth it. Thank you.
Hey.